Welcome to episodes 3 and 4 of Maul Shadow Lord. We will be discussing today in our Rambleview. And to get us started, I wanted to make a correction. Part of how we started the last episode was talking about where this show fits in the grand scheme of Star Wars. And I believe I actually have it figured out now. I haven't looked it up. I'm sure we could and get this answer, but it's more fun to speculate. So I think this is directly after the Clone Wars, like the Mandalorian situation, when Maul escaped after fighting Ahsoka, and it's before the Han Solo movie. I believe this is the story of how he builds up the collective, Shadow Collective, and Crimson Dawn. Because I think the Shadow Collective was actually in the Clone Wars. That's what he was doing in the Clone Wars, and then it morphs into the Crimson Dawn, and we are seeing the formation of the Crimson Dawn that we then see he's the leader of in the Solo movie. So I think I have that figured out now. And the only reason why I say that is because when he kills the Pike leader in episode 3 or 4 here, he mentions he came to the Pike homeworld looking for sanctuary, and the Pike leader betrayed him.
Right.
So, and he mentions like it was after Mandalore when he was in a weak spot and he was looking for sanctuary. So I think he's directly referencing that to let clue in the audience that this is between Mandalore and the Solo movie. So I think we have that figured out now.
Which is probably 10 to 12 years after he died in episode 1.
Yeah. Because it was probably, I think it's like 10 years between episode 1 and 2. And then the Clone Wars is like 3 years ish between, from episode 2 to the end of episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been about like, probably 12, 13 years since he had his legs cut off.
Okay. Well, this episode starts off with something that was a little jarring to me as a filmmaker and editor. It starts off with this tilt down the skyline, and it cuts to it. Its camera's still tilting down in the next shot, and it cuts to it. It's still tilting down in the third shot to get to street level. That's not how you do it. I don't know if it's because they're doing this virtually inside their 3D software and they didn't get it right, but when you're a camera person shooting a shot like that, you tilt down and settle. And then if you want to go to another clip that does the same thing, you tilt down and settle. This just kept tilting down, cut, tilting down, cut. Oh my God, it's so jarring to the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Really bugged me. It was like a rookie mistake.
Interesting. I don't recall it off the top of my head. I'll have to rewatch it just to see what you mean and put it in the edit.
Here, so pretend that you just played it back on the thing and now say, "Oh wow, you're right."
Oh, you're so right. And this opens up on the like just after the escape of the Padawan, right?
Yeah, and I was glad that it did because she was trapped in this big metal cylinder, and she finally uses her force powers to push it off of a shelf, and it crashed and cracked open. And I'm glad that it started off right there, and all the Mandalorians came and were like looking at her. Because I thought, man, if she gets away, that thing makes a lot of noise when it crashes.
Yeah.
If she were to just get away, that would be really stupid. But they picked up right where they left off, and nope, she's surrounded by the Mandalorians who lead her to go talk to Maul.
Yeah, and this was planned because even in the end of the last episode 2, when Maul had her in the cage, basically, he mentioned like by all means escape, get out of here. Basically setting her up like, yeah, I am expecting you to get out, so please show me how you would get out. And she tried to, unlock the door basically from the inside, like with the Force, and she couldn't do it. And then that's when she like went to the back of it, realized that it was pushed up against the wall basically, and that's when she used the Force to push it away and escape out the back end. And so she goes to talk to Maul now, and he says, "Oh, I'm glad you're seeing from a different perspective." And I was like, this is part of that kind of immaturity I feel like Dave Filoni has in his things, because oh yes, instead of opening the door directly, you pushed it away, so you're seeing from a new perspective. That means maybe you'll see from the Sith perspective. Why the fuck does that? Why? Like that's such like a simplistic like, Oh, you discovered the other way to get out of my trap. That means you're more susceptible to my teachings. No, it doesn't. It means that she's just escaping. What? But of course, we do see throughout, I think, these two episodes, like Maul's words and monologues are kind of worming their way into her brain. So, of course, it does hint that she is seeing from a new perspective. But I think that's such like a simplistic way to show to like a kid. See, she escaped from a different way. She didn't go out the door. She went out the back. Jedi is the door. Sith is the back. See? So that's kind of what I mean about like Dave Filoni's kind of like approach to storytelling is that sort of like simplistic sort of narrative beat. But you know, I get you got to show it in some way in a very short, 20 to 30-minute episode and still have it accessible for kids. So it makes sense, but it's just a point that I see.
Well, and speaking of, now that we're just harping on errors, I talked about the pan or the tilt, and you're talking about that.
Yeah.
When she's going to talk to Maul, he's sitting down having tea, and he pours it into some cups. She refuses. But then there's this wide shot of the two of them a little bit behind Maul, and he takes one of the teacups, and you can see it. He pours it and misses everything. He pours it onto the tray.
I knew that. Okay.
Picked up the second cup and did it again. I was like, he's missing the cup. Why is he pouring it out? And then he did like some weird scoop move with the lid.
Yeah.
I was okay, so maybe the scoop move with the lid is some ceremonial thing you do with that certain tea. But why is he pouring it out?
I thought I saw that too. I saw him like pouring, and obviously he's supposed to be pouring into the cup. But yeah, like when it's like the camera's behind him.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I must be like seeing this wrong. But yeah, it looked like he was pouring like right to the right of it, like over, like missing the thing.
Totally. It's like the animator moved the arm too far, and then he poured it out and missed. I'm like, well, why didn't they fix that?
Yeah. Or like because obviously like the backgrounds and backdrops of all these shots have that painterly look, and I think this is a good segue into a point that you wanted to bring up, where like everything looks kind of like painterly, as if they did the animation and then all of the setting is done by hand on like a canvas basically, and they just didn't line it up exactly correctly, and the animator was just like good enough, or maybe they didn't catch it in post or something. And so like it looks just slightly skewed, like yeah, like oh no one will notice it, it's fine. But no, that's the first thing I noticed when he was doing. I was like, wait a minute, I have to rewatch this and watch it again. I'm like, I must be seeing off or something. I need glasses or something. But okay, I'm not the only one who saw it.
Right. Yeah, I did, and I wanted to make a point of it, and I'm sure you'll show it above our heads.
Yeah.
But going back to everything looks like a painting, but there's also something weird that it finally struck me. I mean, you notice it in the first two episodes, but then by now I'm in the third episode, and it was when Two Boots was talking to Lawson in front of his detective pegboard. And I was like, wait a minute, why is Two Boots was holding a data pad? And I paused it, and I'm like, it looks really mushed. Like it's made out of clay, and every time somebody picks it up, they make an indentation. And then I was noticing all the lines on the displays were rough. They weren't smooth lines. Like, I do motion graphics, and I know that if I have an interface or a picture and I'm putting a border around it, when you draw a border, it defaults to perfect square, perfect straight lines. You have to actually take an extra step. There is an effect called roughen edges, which will give it the look that absolutely everything in the show has, from the data pad to the display screens to the storage boxes, the crates in the warehouse. They all look beat up and dented, and every single edge is worn. If it's a blue box with two edges, that edge has got all the paint worn away on every single edge and every shot of everything. So it's a really weird aesthetic to go with, that this Star Wars now has no straight lines.
Right. Yeah. Because not only is, well, yeah, like the paint worn off, but it also, yeah, all the edges on every, like the door panels, yeah, even on two boots, like on his arm, it was something that is like manufactured in metallic, has like a little bump, like not like a manufacturing defect or like a scarring from a shot or something. It's just a weird bump.
Everything is very malleable in Star Wars nowadays, and
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
super
all
strange.
smushed. I don't get it. And but speaking of two boots, there was that one close up shot when he was in the warehouse and he landed up on a scaffolding, and it was just a shot of his two boots.
Mm.
I don't know why I don't know why he's named that, and I don't know what the special significance of his two boots are. Do you know anything about this?
Well, these boots were made for walking. That's just what they'll do. I have no idea. I think it's just, to set him apart from the other robots. But yeah, I don't think we've been given any details about why he wears these boots. So I imagine it's because he is like one of the robots that has more autonomy and more of a personality. Kind of like how R2D2 and C3PO, they develop their personality because they haven't had their data wiped. Like in Star Wars, you regularly wipe your droids so that way they don't exhibit aberrant behavior. And part of that is developing a personality. But I don't know why they would keep Two Boots as this personality filled robot and wipe all the other ones. That seems kind of weird. So we haven't been given a reason as to why.
Maybe his model of droid doesn't require boots. But this
Mm.
guy, for some reason, actually wears humanoid boots, which we don't know
Yeah.
why yet, but maybe that's why they showed it.
Yeah. I think too, like most of the other droids that look like him are like kind of beefier, like the attack droids that they bring into the strike teams. They have the shields, they look bulkier and whatnot. There are a couple that do look like him, like the droid who picks up the Padawan and arrests her initially in episode one. He does look like Two Boots, but without the boots. I'm not sure exactly why Two Boots gets to retain his personality, but none of the others.
If they all look alike and our only visual reference is the fact that he wears boots for us to distinguish him from the others, I they should not have chosen boots because we rarely see feet.
Right.
He should have been named baseball cap or something and wear a baseball cap. That would help us to know who he is.
Yeah.
But I think it was him. He was when he was going to the warehouse with some other random cop, not Lawson.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're driving, and he says, hurry! I'm picking up unusual activity on my sensors.
Hmm.
And they get there, and it's just some thugs in a warehouse.
Right.
I was like, what? First of all, how can you detect that
Right.
while you're driving? And two, there was nothing unusual. Suspicious, maybe, but not
Mm.
unusual. Like, there's a weird energy signature. The planet's going to blow up. And, I thought that line made no sense and didn't add anything
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
confusion.
Yeah. And I think probably what they were going for is like the unusual activity is maybe, yeah, like a shipment just came in with an unusual energy signature. But yeah, I think they could be clear with that. But this is part of like the simplistic narrative that it's like, oh, just something weird. Let's go check it out. And then, oh, it happens to be the exact moment we need to show up to see criminal syndicates, making a deal. We could just detect that, I guess.
With your sensors.
Right. Yeah. So there is definitely still that simplicity in the narrative and whatnot, which, I get it. And that's one of the things that I kind of praised in A Night of the Seven Kingdoms recently was that none of the dialogue and things sounded like it was just for the plot value. Everything was kind of like building on the characters or whatever. And this is kind of the other side of the coin where a lot of the dialogue we hear is just for I need to get this character to there. So I detect unusual activity. It's a criminal syndicate meetup. Well, who would have guessed?
Okay, baseball cap.
Right. So it is a difference in quality of the writing. I get it's meant for, Night of the Seven Kingdoms and Maul are definitely meant for different audiences.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wish that's part of like my whole reason, or like I wish Star Wars would grow up a little bit more, and because you can get that level of like because the Night of the Seven Kingdoms is also 30-minute episodes. I don't know why, but for the animated shows recently, like Bad Batch as well, they've been kind of sticking more to like the 20 to 25-minute range. And I'm like, if you just, I know animation is expensive, but if you just give me 5 more minutes and maybe expand the dialogue a little bit more and make more sense of it. Try to not chew through so much plot, right away just to get into these plot points. I wish we could really like live in the world here.
You mentioned how kind of simplistic their dialogue is, and it's the opposite of like there's plenty of well written scripts with dialogue that you don't pick up on till later. You're like, oh, that's why they said that. An example would be the Matrix, the only one, since there was only one film called The Matrix. There weren't any sequels. When he goes to meet Trinity and her gang, and they're driving in the car in the rain, and he's like, "Oh, I used to eat at that noodle shop." They pull under a bridge, and blonde woman,
Yeah. Yeah.
not Cypher. Anyway, she turns around and says, "Listen up, Copper Top." Da 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 da. Whatever her next line is, and you're like, "Well, he doesn't have red hair. Why would she call him Copper Top?" Because it's a battery. She's referring to a battery, and we don't know it yet. But that line makes more sense later on. That's good writing.
Yeah.
I'm detecting something on my sensors is not good writing.
Right. Yeah. Yep. I knew you were going to bring up that line too when you mentioned in the first movie. I was like, oh, the copper top thing. Because that's something I think about all the time as well when I think about like good dialogue and just having deeper meaning to something that you won't pick up until a rewatch or something. Because that's a line that you forget because it doesn't make any sense to you. And then you rewatch and you're like, oh, that's actually really smart. I like that.
Yeah, you're like, oh, she was giving it away then and I didn't catch it?
Yeah. Yep. But shifting back more into the plot now, we do see the Padawan. Yeah, she has this conversation with Maul, and she escapes. Right, they have this big fight, and I think we can just cover like they juxtapose this fight into different moments in this episode. But I just want to talk about the fight as a whole. And Maul was expecting her to take the lightsaber. That's why he had it laying there next to the T. He's like, "All right, let's go." So he turns the lights off, and she's very scared, trying to get out. And once she gets finally to the top, she sees a way out. Maul gets in her way. Cool fight scene, great action, loved it. I love how this Padawan is very capable. Not only is she always opposed to Maul and not really falling for his tricks, we do see it worms its way into her thinking, but she still, adheres to the Jedi code and believes that Maul is an evil person and is not just going to join him. And when she's running away and she still has his lightsaber, did you pick it up? The lightsaber spoke.
What?
Yeah. So when she's running away and Maul takes the lightsaber from her and he says, like, I'm going to need that back, Devon. Like, he knows her name. Even though they started the conversation with him asking her name, she never gave it. Well, he knows it. And I wonder if the saber, I had mentioned in our previous Rambleview, like, I hope that the kind of fiery and jaggedness in the lightsaber was coming from some connection with Maul, and it wasn't just like a design choice for evil lightsabers look jagged. I hope it was more of like the connection between Maul and the lightsaber, and I think it is because the lightsaber spoke. And if you turned on subtitles, it even says Maul's lightsaber in an alien language, and it's like like some like Voldemort from Harry Potter kind of shit. And it I don't know exactly the significance of it, but it does that, and then he pulls it away, and that's when he says, "I'll need that back, Devon." So I wonder if the lightsaber made a connection with the Padawan, which gave Maul that insight into who she is, and that's why he knew her name. But I think that the lightsaber and Maul have this deeper connection that you don't see in a regular Jedi and lightsaber way, because the lightsaber is fucking speaking.
Yeah, that's new. I didn't watch with subtitles. Now I want to go back and check out that part.
Yeah, it doesn't say like it doesn't have any speech written out, like even in an alien language. It just says Maul's lightsaber in alien language or whatever.
Her name is Devon.
Right. Yeah. So I'm keen to see how that kind of develops. I always like, the sort of sentient weapon that makes a connection with its wielder and maybe influences its wielder and whatnot. So
Mjolnir,
I like it.
Stormbreaker, yeah.
yeah, something like that. I want to see how that develops and if it's more of a mutual kind of influence or if it's Maul's philosophy infecting the kyber crystal or how that is. So I hope that they develop that a little bit more. But I picked up on that detail. I was like, ooh, I like that.
That was cool. And I love during the whole dialogue pre-fight where she's just whipping the lightsaber around.
hmm
You could see him behind her every
Yeah.
time she turns around. I thought that was really good. Way he's talking with her, toying with her, teasing her,
Mm.
disappearing, and then we can see him, and it's really ominous.
Yeah, yeah, I love that, and I feel like that's a really good way. See, this is something that they're doing really well in the show is like with the visual sort of storytelling here, where Devin is obviously directly opposed to Maul, but we see when he talks and in some of his monologues, she kind of like is processing what he's saying and is seeing some truth to it with how he was like they were both betrayed by Palpatine and the galaxy has been turned against the Jedi, much how the galaxy is against Maul. And obviously there are different reasons for that, which Devin, that's why she's opposed to him. But that constant presence of Maul over her shoulder, I feel like that's going to be playing into the rest of the series here is that constant presence of Maul and his philosophy and his monologues worming their way into Devin.
He's trying to get her to realize through his speaking that they're the same.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
Yeah.
okay, the Sith have always been the bad guys, and now the Jedi are bad guys too. The galaxy thinks you're bad guys, so we're pretty much on the same team, right?
Yeah.
That's yeah, I like that. And when she was whipping the lightsaber around to like look for him, it reminded me of what you told me about torches.
What was that?
But in the old, sword days,
Yeah.
you never held torches out in front of them.
Oh, yeah. Because it would obscure, like, you wouldn't be able to see, actually. You'd have to hold it kind of like,
Yeah, because there's so much brightness that you're not going to see into the dark past the brightness. So they would hold the torches behind them and let the light cast out from behind them. Then they could see in front of them, and their eyes are adjusted to that light as opposed to the bright light in front of them. And it's funny now, once you told me that, I was like, every freaking movie, they're holding the torch out. And I'm like,
Yep.
that's gonna make you vulnerable.
yeah.
But she was doing the same thing. She's holding her lightsaber out. I was like, oh, she should hold it behind her, like Zach said.
Yeah. Man, when did I mention that? That was a while ago.
It was, yeah, just a couple years ago. You mentioned, I don't know, we were talking about some books or something, and you mentioned, oh, Dad, did you know? Da, 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 da. And of course, I was like, yeah, I knew that.
Google, is that true?
Can't have my son knowing more than me.
Yeah. Haha, I've got you now.
You are the master.
Yeah. But yeah, also I noticed too when she's like waving her lightsaber around, she does like the Obi-Wan stance, like puts out her fingers, it's a specific form. It's like Ataru or Form 3, whatever it is. I forget all the forms off the top of my head. But yeah, she does that kind of like Obi-Wan. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. I like that.
I did notice too, when Lawson was driving to the scene, the warehouse, his windshield isn't very big. I don't know how he sees anything through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had that shot over his shoulder. I was like, the windshield's like this big?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you get in a lot of accidents? Well, I guess not, because in our last episode, we talked about how there's no ships flying around Janix.
Yeah, Janix. Yep. Yep. Yeah, that makes their job a lot easier because if everyone's using like the roads, it leaves the airspace open for just cops flying around, I guess. So that's actually kind of smart. But they also don't have as much population as Coruscant, right? Like Coruscant, it's like 6,000 levels that people are living. So you need more verticality. But in Janix, it looks like more of like a traditional city.
Wasn't there a Star Wars game that was in development but never made it where there's a ship falling down through Coruscant?
Yeah, 1313.
1313, right.
Yeah. That was one of the ones that bit the dust when Disney bought Star Wars. And it's like, That could have been so good.
So Coruscant is so tall that you can put a whole video game while you're falling down a shaft.
Yeah, pretty much. And you still would have more area to fall down. Like, it's a lot. So, if you're interested in how big Coruscant is, there's a lot of videos out there. I'm sure you can find one. But yeah, the Coruscant is, they say it has like billions of people. It should have like hundreds of trillions of people with how it's a city-wide or planet-wide city with thousands and thousands and thousands of levels to the point where you get to a certain depth where there's no cops, there's no authority at all. It's a completely different
It's literally the underworld.
yes, yeah. And so that would be cool to explore. I was hoping we'd see more of that in this show, but it turns out, yeah, we're on a different planet. So I'm like, I was really hoping we'd see more Coruscant, but okay. Also, as well, moving ahead a little bit here with Two Boots and Lawson before Two Boots actually goes to the warehouse. He mentions that he had a brief but rewarding power down cycle. So I know we were talking about in the last Rambleview, like, does he power down? Does he have a shift? That sort of thing. So he does power down. It seems to like sleep and regenerate. I don't exactly know why he would need to, but I guess maybe just to plug in and get some power or whatever. But yes, so he does go to sleep essentially.
Well, and Lawson put him to sleep.
Yeah.
And there was in that scene in the office. There's a shot of maybe it was after Lawson grounded him and made him stay behind before he blabbed to the Empire. But there was a shot of Two Boots working on some files or something on his desk. And they cut to a shot of his desk with an image of Two Boots and Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
And he pushed a box in front of it to cover it up.
Yeah.
So upon the rewatch, getting prepped for this, I noticed that the picture was Two Boots and Lawson was like doing like this kind of move, like he didn't know a picture was being taken.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a friendly buddy picture that he has on his desk. It looked almost more like a surveillance photo, and I think him pushing something in front of it was to hide it from Lawson.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm right in that regard, and that's going to come back up later, but it wasn't your standard posed picture of two buddy cops.
Yeah.
Thought it was weird.
Yeah, I think as well, if it's not like a surveillance photo and him covering it up to like hide from Lawson, I think it also could just be that we've seen Lawson kind of talk to Two Boots as if he's like a person, but every time Two Boots has a conflict with Lawson, Lawson just kind of overrides him. And Two Boots even mentions like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to go against your authority." Like he kind of like puts emphasis on these words, and Lawson I don't think necessarily like picks up on it or something, because they were talking about like how Lawson doesn't want the Empire. Two Boots says, "Oh, well, is it because your wife works for the Empire, or your ex-wife, I should say?" And he says, "Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up. I won't go against your authority." Lawson always, he doesn't really like hear what Two Boots is saying. So even though Lawson is kind of talking to him like a person, it's clear that even with like Lawson turning him off, he does still see Two Boots as not really a person. Because if your friend was doing something that you were against like that, like if this was a person instead of Two Boots going to this booth to call the Empire, what would Lawson have like fucking karate chopped him and knocked him out or something? Probably not. But that's the equivalent of turning your robot friend off, is knocking your human friend out. I don't think he would do that. So Lawson doesn't necessarily see Two Boots as an entity, a sentient entity. He still sees him as a robot.
Yeah, he views him as an automaton, a service droid to do Lawson's bidding.
Yeah.
And not as an equal.
Yeah. Same with the chief, because the chief even just comes to Lawson and says, "Hey, get control of your robot. He came to me trying to get around you, so get him on a leash." And Two Boots is there thinking, "Well, me and Lawson are pals, right?" Oh no, he doesn't see me as a pal. I am a tool for him, essentially. So
one thing I forgot to mention is last time I wanted to mention it and I forgot, and then in the previously part of this show they showed a clip of it again, and I was like, oh yeah, in episode 1 or 2, They're since I watch them, back to back, they run together for me.
Yeah.
When Maul was running through a tunnel or trying to escape something in the first two episodes, he did this like backward flip down a ladder shaft, and it reminded me of when he got killed in episode one. He's falling backwards the same way. I bet you they did that as a little like mini homage.
Yeah. Oh man, I'll have to rewatch it, but yeah, I think I remember that move, but I didn't make that connection as well. I'll have to rewatch it just to see how much alike it is. They're like, oh, remember this? Well, he's alive this time.
So Lawson and his son now, yes, we glossed over that.
Yeah, we didn't really talk too much about it in the first Rambleview, but as kind of like an extension of how he interacts with Two Boots and just kind of treats him as a tool or as just a component of his life and not as a separate entity. I feel like he does the same sort of thing with his son, which obviously with like a cop detective kind of guy, he always feels like he needs to be the one at the forefront of the investigation, taking down the bad guys. And that conflicts with what his son wants. You know, he has this rugby lacrosse match, whatever. And he goes to watch it initially, but then the Jedi Master Daki, we know his name now, he talks to him or whatever. Then he gets a call from his buddies saying, you know, it's Two Boots at the warehouse saying, like, hey, we need backup or whatever. So he leaves right when his son makes a goal. And he doesn't really interact with his son much. We saw in the first set of two episodes and now this one as well, this sort of conflict between him and his son. He doesn't really pay his son any attention because he's so absorbed in his work as a detective. And so, like Two Boots being just a component or a tool in Lawson's life, his son is just kind of a secondary component in his life. And I feel like we're supposed to get from that kind of like Lawson is selfish in that way. Obviously, he's doing good, right? You know, it's that classic you spend too much time at work, but your work is saving the lives of people, but in saving their lives, you're neglecting my life kind of thing. So,
Kind of like how you grew up with me.
right, because you were a superhero EMT cop magician.
Oh my God. That's a reference nobody will get.
Yeah. Nope. I almost included it like as like, you know, what are Jedi like EMT cop magicians, and no one would understand it, but if you're interested,
You might have to include a clip of that.
Because a Scientologist does. He or she has the ability to create new and better realities and improve conditions.
So, you're EMT cop magicians?
yeah, I might with the cut to Tom Cruise. Is that still on your channel?
Yeah.
I might throw a link to that in the description here because yeah, that's a I saw it actually like that had a lot of views, that video.
Yeah.
It had a lot of views on it.
A lot of people search for Tom Cruise, and with my misleading title, they think, "Oh, wow, really?" So, yeah, you just include 2 lines from that, and a link. People can make of it what they will.
Yeah. Great video. Go watch it. Link will be in the description. But yeah, so like it's that classic conflict with the cop character not, you know, neglecting his own personal life, and it's a bit of a tired trope. I get it. It makes sense and it gives a little bit more depth to the characters here, but it's like so the son, I think what they're setting up here is that the son wants to go live with his mother, but the mother is an imperial kind of person, you know, working with the empire and in that whole system of oppression. And so the son is going to get indoctrinated into that, and that's going to create conflict for Lawson and his family and the job and whatnot. So
Is the mother alive?
I believe so. Yeah, I think the only reference that we've had is like Two Boots mentioning like your ex-wife works for the Empire.
But see, I was going to say that he didn't say ex-wife. He said like previous or former wife or something. A weird word that we wouldn't. If you have an ex, we call him an ex-wife, an ex-husband. If they died, I wouldn't say, "Oh, yeah, remember your ex-wife?" Well,
Yeah.
we were married until she died.
Yeah.
So I want.
You would say, remember your dead wife?
Well, your former wife, your past wife.
Yeah, or that. Yeah.
So
That's true.
That made me wonder. I'm like, oh, is she dead?
Yeah. I'll have to go back to that conversation and see, yeah, exactly what he said. I'll probably throw up like a little text here saying like the actual line. So the viewers, you can see I'm popping up here on the screen. Yes, right above you.
Oh, yeah, that's what he said.
Yep. Well, oh, okay, that cleared it up. We
Yeah,
can move
that
on.
makes more sense now.
So we'll see. Maybe we'll talk about it in the next Ramble view here. And so yeah, and at that lacrosse match, you know, he has the conversation with Jedi Master Daki, and I literally cannot. Since you mentioned it, I can't not hear the all state in Master Daki. Like it's no matter what he's saying, I'm just thinking I'm in good hands. You know. It's terrible. Like that's the both the benefit and curse, you know, of blessing and curse of having that iconic kind of voice and doing a set of commercials like that is that I cannot separate the two now. He is not Jedi Master Daki. He is just Allstate Jedi Master Allstate. You know.
And now what they need to do is have a shot where Devin's injured and Daki tells Lawson, you know, take her with you, get her better, and he says to her, "You're in good hands."
Yep. We need it. It needs to happen.
Or excuse me, you're in good hands.
Right.
I can't do it, Dennis Haysbert.
Yeah, he's got a very distinct kind of singular voice, that kind of quality. Very jealous.
Zach, you are unique, just like everyone else.
Shut up! I know you're lying to me. Oh yeah, another a note about like kind of that conversation between Lawson and Two Boots is that Two Boots is seen repeatedly as being in favor of the Empire and having them come and help. But he makes the connection that like, well, when it was the Republic, they would usually send a Jedi to help with these sorts of things. And it's interesting that Two Boots makes that connection, but doesn't make the connection that the Empire branded the Jedi as traitors and evil people. So he sees, oh, the Jedis would be dispatched to help us. The Jedi were good. So you would think that he would dislike the Empire for branding the people who helped them as enemies, actually. It's weird that he's not making that connection.
Which begs the question then, you know, is he an Imperial droid? Is his model, you know, created by the Empire to be, you know, cops, ICE in modern day terms? I mean, maybe he's just got a loyal streak in him because that's where he came from. Even though he's developing his own personality and he's mostly loyal to his partner and he knows the chain of command, but he steps out of it because he has to tell the Empire. So he's got some loyalty to the Empire.
Yeah, I don't think he was necessarily created. Like, I think he was created during the Republic times, and that's why he refers to like when the Jedi would used to come out and help. But I wouldn't put it past the Empire to like slowly start infecting like the firmware. You know, like, oh, we need to update the bots with this new protocol or whatever, and it's like slowly building that loyalty to the Empire through these sort of like updates or something. Like when he goes to power down, if the Empire is kind of like infecting them or something like that, I wouldn't put it past them. That would be an interesting kind of like spin on it.
Well, when episode 4 starts, they have it previously on recap, which is fine. And then it goes to black. And typically, like when I edit things like that, you want to rest between scenes, especially a recap and then to get into the episode. So, like 1 second. And then you start into the next scene. There was 8 seconds of black. It was really weird. I was like, because I saw it previously on, okay, good. Is this, I was checking my remote. I'm like, yeah, is it muted? What? And then I could start to hear something. I was like, oh, that. And then I checked the time on the rewatch. 8 seconds of nothing. That's a really long time when it comes to narrative television.
Right. Yeah. As like a transition.
Yeah. Again, like kind of like my gripe at the start of episode 3 with the tilt.
Yeah.
Now it's like somebody forgot to get rid of that gap.
Mm-hmm. And the misalignment, like when he was pouring the tea, like it seems like those like finishing touches were maybe rushed.
Maybe that's it. We're just picking up on a couple little errors.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, but they've had a long time that they've been working on the show. I would imagine, like, I mean, the animation quality is great, right? These backdrops, like the the actual backdrop of flying into the Pike homeworld here at the start of episode 4, I believe it is. It looks fantastic. I love these painted backdrops and
Oh
everything.
yeah, yeah.
And so I would imagine that, yeah, it probably takes a lot of time, but yeah, these finishing touches are just not there. It's not exactly polished, you know?
To put a point on it, it's rough around the edges.
Yes, literally. But yeah, it's funny too with Vario. We get to see a lot more Vario this time. I didn't think we'd be seeing this much of him. I thought he'd be taken out a lot sooner. But we get to see him kind of shine this episode with his ploy with Darth Maul and getting into the Pike place, which throughout I was like, oh, is he trying to actually betray Maul? But when that guy dropped down, I was like, oh, that's not how Maul fights. I know that's definitely not Maul. I was thinking that's probably the orange guy because of how he was like lumbering around. And the orange Zabrak we've seen is the guy who holds the minigun, and he's kind of more of like he gives me very what was his name from Bad Batch? Wrecker, the big brute guy who's not as smart.
Rekka.
Yeah, Rekka. But he gives me that vibe a lot. So when he was like using the lightsaber to kill these pikes, I was like, I think that's the orange one. And it is. We see that it is. But Vario, he gives me so much the inconceivable guy from Princess Bride. Like straight up, I'm like, that's not the same voice actor. I know that, but man, he gives that vibe so hard.
I swear that guy's name that we're talking about, his name starts with a V as well.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. His name's Vizzini.
No.
In this, the guy's name is Vario, and he's got
Yeah.
the same speech affectation. But yeah, that first shot over the planet, that's when, again, it just jumped out at me. Star Wars is elite at the sound effects game. Every sound effect fits so perfect. Like that ship goes, and you hear it like go, it just, the lightsabers, the guns, the switches, everything sounds so perfect in all of Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah. I always enjoy a good starship flyover, especially at the end too. Not only the sound effects, but also the music, like at the end of episode 4 when we see the Star Destroyer, and it's just so imposing. Just it's so good. So good.
Or the chase between Jango Fett and Obi-Wan in Attack of the Clones with that mine that he drops, and
Yes.
there's silence and then so cool.
When we heard that in The Mandalorian, finally, like we meet, I think Boba Fett or I can't remember if it was Boba Fett or the Mandalorian actually who used it. But when I saw that was happening, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those dudes who went like, yes, when I heard it in The Mandalorian. I think it was like season 1 or 2. It was early on in The Mandalorian.
And you're like, do it, you're gonna do it.
Yes. When I saw, I was like, you can't just tease me like that. It has to. It's happening. It's happening. Yeah! I am a sucker for that sound effect. It is so fucking good. I love it. Yeah, they are kings at sound effect. Everything sound wise is just phenomenal.
But getting back to the whole Vario Maul setup, that was really well done. Vario's a good little actor.
Yeah.
He played his part, and man, that was a pretty badass move when Maul turned on the lightsaber, killing the Pike leader, and had the lightsaber come to him, reminiscent of Rise of Skywalker, the throne room fight scene.
No, Last Jedi.
Oh, that was the second one.
Yep. Probably the one of the very few good scenes in that movie. If you don't pay attention to the fight choreography too much, it's a pretty good scene. But that goes back to me saying Dave Filoni keeps pulling things whole cloth from other properties, movies, whatever. That's just a straight up Kylo scene put into this, which is fine, but it's such a consistent theme.
And I wonder if it's because it's animation that they can just do everything faster, because he zips that lightsaber right to him. But in the Last Jedi one, when Rey does the same thing, it takes a good long while for that lightsaber to cross the room to get to her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, too, also, like, Darth Maul is very proficient in the Force. And I feel like that's something we never really, like, picked up in, like, Episode 1, Phantom Menace. And that was something that during the Clone Wars, we see, like, he's actually really powerful in the Force. And he has a lot of time to develop that, especially on the Trash Planet when it's just him and his hatred keeping him alive. There's obviously, that's the sort of environment where you develop those sorts of Force powers, especially as a Sith. Like the Jedi, they might go into meditation and just, I'm on this, sanctuary world where no one can find me, and I just meditate and I become one with the Force. And the Sith are kind of the opposite. They go to a trash planet and live off of hatred and anger, and that develops their Force powers. But to see then, him being so composed and everything, I like seeing the dichotomy of his composure and anger and everything, and his developed Force power. He is very, very powerful in the Force.
Yeah, he could easily overwhelm Devon, but he's choosing to try to seduce her with his words.
Yeah, yeah, and we see he kind of manhandles Daki and the paddle and Devon in Episode 4 here. He kind of puts on a masterclass of dismantling those two.
and I was that fight scene. We're jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah,
he was holding back.
Yeah,
he was blocking. He wasn't attacking. He was kicking them more than hitting them with his lightsaber. Because he probably wants both of them on his side.
Yeah. He mentioned, like, yeah, when they both showed up, he was like, "Oh, good, just as I planned. You brought your master as well." And yeah, in his monologue, he's telling them both, like, these people are beneath you. You are more powerful. You guys are the arbiters of justice in the galaxy, and the galaxy turned on you. Why are you not turning on the galaxy and bending them to your will? If you are the people who serve justice, shouldn't you be serving justice here? That's how he worms his way in. It makes a lot of sense. Why are you going to let these plebs, control you and take away your power when in your heart you know that you are right? So you should use your power to enforce what you think is right, just as I'm doing. So yeah, he doesn't kill them, and I was actually really surprised. I was fully expecting Daki to be killed in this fight. But to your point, yeah, he's kind of trying to worm his way into both of their minds.
Well, and the weird thing is at the end of that fight, Maul kicks Daki and he falls, I don't know, 5 feet.
Mm.
But he's like gravely injured after that.
Yeah.
I was like, from what? We as humans can fall off a roof and we might break a bone, but we're not in bad a shape as Daki was after the end of that fight. So I thought that was really weird.
I imagine, like, Maul does have robotic legs, so like he kicked him in the ribs. I'm guessing maybe he broke a rib or something, and that's what's really affecting Daki. I was thinking too, maybe there's some sort of, I don't know, force, like if he put some force power into it or something, because Daki did punch one of the metallic legs, and kind of you could hear the servos kind of malfunctioning. So I think, maybe Maul put a little bit more into that kick. But yeah, I did think it was really weird how, yeah, Daki's like, oh, he can barely move, and Devon is trying to, has to hold him up and bring him out and everything. That level of damage does not reflect the actual fight that happened. So I was thinking, is there some sort of force thing that's going on there?
And another thing that jumped out at me when Lawson was talking to Maul, which was after fighting Daki or right before fighting Daki?
Right before.
Right before? Okay.
It was right before the fight broke out.
Okay, so I wrote it down. It was when Maul's hologram was talking to Lawson before Daki and Devon had the fight. So they're showing the hologram to Lawson. Maul says he'd like to not have any Imperials on Janix. Lawson says, how do you know they're not already on their way? And Maul's reply was, if that were the case, they'd already be here.
If they were already all there. Right.
Another really poorly written line. I was like, that doesn't any sense. That's stupid.
Right. It's like I think what they were going for is probably like if you had alerted them, you would have alerted them back when you first knew it was me, so then they would already be here. But yeah, like what Lawson said doesn't mean that he reported them way back then. Like yeah, there's that weird conflict in the dialogue. Again, that sort of simplified, sort of like you get what we're going for here, right? Painting with a broad brush here.
Also, to be another error was when the female Mandalorian, I don't know her name,
Rook.
Rook, okay, when she and the other Mandos in Zabrix,
Zabrax.
when they're fighting the droids, cops, she uses her flamethrower out of her arm.
Mm-hmm.
And when she turns her arm to get more guys, that flame goes with her hand. But that's not how physics work.
Right, yeah.
When you're shooting flames and you move, the flames should stay where you shot them all along the way, not as a line move all with your hand.
Yeah.
That's another egregious error that I saw.
Yeah. That's the sort of thing that like in a polishing pass, you would fill in that gap. Like, if you're just, blocking it out, yeah, okay, fire go here, straight line. And then in the polishing, okay, let's fill it in so it looks more like fire. And all of these little details that you think would get caught in one of those last polishing kind of passes, they're not there. So, what happened? Like, did they just not have enough time? Because they definitely had the budget. Like, it looks great. I think you mentioned in the previous Rambleview, like one of the shots with the spy bot looked movie quality. They're there sometimes, but in others they're not. And it's that weird kind of mix in quality that I hope at least for season 2 they give them a little bit more time to fill in those details and polish it up a little bit. But that's not to say that it's bad or anything, right? These are just those little touches, little nitpicks kind of.
They are, and I'm having fun with the overall narrative of where it's going, and I'm looking forward to getting there. What is there? 8 or 10 episodes total?
10.
Okay, so we have 3 more weeks of 2 episodes a night.
Yeah, I believe so. So, and yeah, like you said, like the overall narrative, I'm happy with. It's very cool, but it's just when you start zeroing in on the details, it's very simple to get you from point A to point B. There's nothing really like in there to kind of rewatch and be like, oh, that means that, this, that, whatever. Oh, this scene was so expertly crafted or anything. It's entertainment. That's about where it's at.
Yeah, I'm wondering, because of the timing of this, that like you just figured out this takes place right before Solo.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Darth Maul in Solo. And they're making a new non-saga, Skywalker saga story with Ryan Gosling next year.
Mm.
Where are they bringing awareness to Maul now? Because maybe he's going to be in that? He could be. We don't know what happens to him or how long he lives.
We do.
We do?
Mm-hmm.
We know what? How long he lives or if he dies or not?
Yes.
Oh. Well, I don't know. I know he survives this series because he has to be in Solo.
Yes.
But we've never seen anything after Solo, timeline-wise.
We have. We as the audience. I didn't watch it, but I alluded to it a little bit in Rebels, another animated series that Dave Filoni did. It kind of leads up to episode 4. I don't want to spoil it.
Okay, don't spoil it. Tell me when we stop recording.
Sure.
I don't remember what. Maybe I didn't see Rebels. I thought I saw all the animated shows.
Rebels is the one with Ezra Bridger. He has like a blaster hilt saber, like his lightsaber. The hilt of it is also like a blaster.
No, okay, then I've not seen that. I thought I did, but was that the one that was more geared towards like younger kids?
Yeah, and the animation style was really like the lightsabers were like pencil thin. It was very strange. It's got like Vader in it. It's Ezra Bridger, his former Jedi Master, teaches him, and there's a whole crew of people on this ship. It's a cool premise, I think, but yeah, I just wasn't into the animation style and sort of maturity of the series, so I didn't watch it. But I did watch certain clips and scenes of it, and yes, we do know what happens to Maul, and we will not be seeing him in any future anything that takes place, especially after the sequel trilogy. We won't see him.
Hey, he's died once.
Well, that's true, and they've brought characters back willy nilly before, so
Hey, maybe somehow he survives.
yes, somehow Darth Maul has returned. It was the last secret he learned from Sidious. We'll see in this series. He learns that Force ability. I'm hoping not. Fingers crossed. I wouldn't put it past them though. But yeah, of course, this whole action scene in this defunct warehouse area, overall very cool. I like the whole dynamics that we see. I think it's funny that Lawson, as he is surrounded by Mandalorians, battle trained and tested, he's like, me and my cops, we're gonna bring you in. You should surrender. Bro, you're gonna die. And we see at the end of the battle, all of his men are getting carted out on med bay, med tables and stuff. He lost a lot of guys. Very foolish. Lawson is that kind of, I will die on my morality hill, even if it takes all my men with me. He's that kind of guy. He definitely shouldn't have made a deal with Maul, but man, he's very brash.
I'm going to stand up for my morals no matter how many of my men it kills.
Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I am willing to make. That's a good encapsulation of his character in this moment. He sees a Sith Lord and his squad of Mandalorians. He's like, yeah, we could take you, me and my cop buddies. Obviously, he cannot. And we see Darth Maul gets away. Padawan and Daki get away. All the cops injured, or most of the robots look like they died. And Two Boots shows up and he says, I forgive you for turning me off, but I hope you forgive me. And I don't think Lawson will, because we see that the Empire is here. And I love it too, because the spy bot, he hacks into the comm array or whatever, and he hears that, that probe droid. Another great sound effect for Star Wars, that fucking probe droid. And the Empire is here, so we will see. I wonder who they sent. Who do you think?
So wait, this is before Solo. It could, I mean, Darth Vader's around.
He is around, yeah. Could be Vader. Could be one of those Jedi hunters.
Could be Tarkin.
Yeah, could be Tarkin. I mean, this is Darth Maul.
Yeah, before he's a Gran, when he's just Moff Tarkin.
Yeah. And Sidious has personally come out to deal with Maul in the Clone Wars series, when Maul kind of takes over Mandalore. So we have seen Sidious come and deal with it personally. Now, though, he is, because of the Jedi attack, left deformed and disfigured. So I don't think we'll see Sidious coming out to personally deal with Vader or with Maul. But we might see Vader. He might have sent Vader out. He might have sent some of these Inquisitors, as we've seen in some other properties. The Inquisitors are still, enforcing for the Empire during this period. So this would be kind of early on in the Inquisitors' lifespan. So we might see some Inquisitors. We might see Vader. We might just see someone like Tarkin, maybe, and just regular Imperial troops. We will see. I think they want to give room to escalate, right? Because it's not going to be like, oh, the Empire is here and now Darth Maul runs away. No, Darth Maul is going to take out that Star Destroyer. I guarantee it. He's going to do something.
Yeah, I mean, we're only halfway through the series, so yeah, there's a lot of story left.
Yeah, and so I hope they don't jump straight to one of these big bad guys. I hope it escalates, and maybe at the end of season 1 we see Vader show up or something like that.
Well, hopefully we see more of him than we did in Rogue One, or the sliver of, who was it in Acolyte, the bad guy?
Oh, Plagueis.
Plagueis?
That's how I say it, but you can say whatever.
Yeah, hopefully we see more of the big bad guy this season than they've gotten away with in the past. Like, give us a meaty scene.
Rogue One, I think, was perfect, actually. I think that was a perfect use of Vader. Because, yeah, when that happened, I was like, in theaters, I was watching, I was like, wait a minute. It's getting dark. Wait. This can only mean one thing. And then you see the red saber, like, yes! It's another one of those, like, fuck yeah!
And that was like, that's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Darth Vader from 4, 5, and 6. He's slow and lumbering. And yeah, oh man, Rogue One, that was an awesome scene.
Yeah, that just blew me. I remember because I saw it with you. Maybe I saw it because then I took one of my friends to see it, and I was just waiting for that scene. And when I was like, is he gonna? And then I see on his face, he's just like, you know. I think we talked about Night of the Seven Kingdom, those sorts of moments where you get to show someone a surprising thing. I was like, yep, that 100%. I was just like, yes, I can't wait for him to see this.
And our audience may find this story funny when I took you as a little child to see Attack of the Clones, right?
Yeah, Attack of the Clones.
So you're little, and you and Alex were always good in theaters. You never talked. I trained you well. We sit here and we watch. And it got to the point where Yoda has a lightsaber battle with Dooku. And Yoda flicks on his lightsaber, and I'm like, well, how is this going to work? This is going to be stupid.
Yeah.
Yoda starts bouncing off the walls, flipping all over the place. Zachary, he just looks at me, he grabs me. Daddy, I didn't know he could do that. Daddy, I didn't know he could do that. Daddy, I didn't know he could do that. And I said, shut the fuck up. Nobody knew he could do that. I'm like, we're in a theater. But yeah, those moments where your favorite franchises knock it out of the park is exhilarating.
Yep. It's so fun. I wish I had a more specific memory of that moment. I think I was too young to really be forming those memories, but oh man, that's good. and now I'm an adult doing basically the same thing, like ah! So yes, that never dies. I love Star Wars, so I will always have that in me for Star Wars.
Well, anyway, that's about it, right?
Yeah, that wraps up these 2 episodes. We are left on this cliffhanger of Empires showing up, but who exactly it is, we don't know. We will see in the next couple episodes, which come out in just a couple days as of recording this. So definitely looking forward to it.
I'm enjoying the show, warts and all.
Yep, warts and all. It is definitely still a fun show. So, but that'll wrap it up for us. So may the Force be with you, and we hope you join us in our next Rambleview. But until then, may the Force be with you again.
That sounds like a good way to end it, with "May the Force be with you" a couple times.
Yep, I'm a professional. And cut. Gotta stop saying whatnot.